let's look at Enoch and dig for more truth about our lovely reflector, the moon. Enoch 74:7, when the sun rises through the fourth gate, the moon comes out for 7 days, until it starts coming out through the fifth. It then turns back towards the fourth gate in 7 days, waxing as it recedes, and enters the first gate in 8 days. Then again it returns to the fourth gate through which the sun rises in 7 days. So we have 7 days plus 7 days plus 8 days plus 7 days. That equals 29 days, or 1 synodic month. Verse 74:9. Thus I beheld their stations, as according to the fixed order of the months the sun rises and sets. We've been talking about the lunar synodic month, where the phases of the moon repeat every 29 days. However, we can also measure the moon as it returns to the same spot in the sky. This happens every 27 days and is called the sidereal lunar month. The sidereal lunar month is defined according to the moon's orbit with respect to the celestial sphere. It is the length of time for the moon to return to the same position in respect to the fixed stars. The length of the sidereal month is 27 days. Using this type of month, the sky can be divided into 28 lunar mansions. The average between the synodic 29 days and the sidereal 27 days is 28 days, or 28 stations. Ancient cultures have always looked to the sky as a timekeeping device. Just as the sun's motions throughout the zodiac mark changes throughout the year, the moon's motion throughout the night sky marks the changes throughout the months. For this purpose, the moon's own zodiac was designed based on her position in relation to notable star groupings. These are the 28 lunar mansions, or stations. Observances and recordings of the moon through these stations against the stars appear in several cultures. The lunar stations are determined by the position of the moon as she circles the earth. And although many cultures use these mansions or stations for astrology purposes and future predictions, just as many do with the solar zodiac sign that aligns with their birth dates, our emphasis is on biblical astronomy. Thus, we want to avoid astrological associations of any kind, unless they can shed added light on the truth. As we have seen in other cases where ancient mythologies have preserved truths prior to astrological corruptions having set in. What we can glean from this information is the understanding of the path of the moon's yearly circuit against the fixed stars. Just like we see the sun moving from constellation to constellation, the moon too moves through those same constellations. And let's remember that it is the stars who are the leaders of time. The stars set the background story as the sun and moon move across them, like cursors moving across a document on your computer screen, declaring their individual stories day and night, season by season, and year by year. It takes the moon 13 cycles to complete its trek through the 28 stellar stations. 13 cycles times 28 days equals 364-day year. The exact amount of time Enoch and the Book of Jubilees tells us is the length of the year. I have even seen some real fancy math out there trying to explain how it all works, including using pi. Now, I always like a little pi, but not when it comes to mathematics. I mean, I think the Creator made things a lot less complicated than that. After all, his language is a visual one, made for pea-brains like me. His moed would be set by the visual aspects of the heavens. Again, easy enough that even the lowliest shepherd out in the field could understand the Creator's division of days. I don't think those shepherd boys knew how to determine pi. The year then truly becomes complete according to the stations of the moon and the stations of the sun, which rise in the different gates, which rise and set in them for 30 days. Through the gates that the sun, moon, and stars all move through. This is confirmed in the very next chapter, Enoch 75:1. These are the leaders of the chiefs of thousands, those which preside over all the creation and over all the stars, with the 4 days which are added in and never separated from the place allotted them, according to the complete calculation of the year. Verse 2, and these serve 4 days, which are not calculated in the calculation of the year. Respecting them, men greatly err, for these luminaries truly serve in the dwelling place of the world. 1 day in the first gate, 1 in the third gate, 1 in the fourth gate, and 1 in the sixth gate. And the harmony of the world becomes complete every 364th state of it. Enoch tells us that his writings are for the understanding of the latter-day generation. We certainly cannot deny that the calendar found within his writings are being manifested in the here and now. More than ever, people are seeking the understanding of the Creator's division of time. Meeting with Eloah at the correct time is his mark on his people. Eloah gave his calendar to man through the Torah, through inspired writings like Enoch and Jubilees, and by the natural order of the movement of the heavens. Yet, as written in the Book of Jubilees, Yahuwah knew man would still mess it up. This is why we must deprogram and reboot our minds to the simplicity of Elohah's creation. If we become once again in tune with nature, the way Yahuwah ordained it, we will live in harmony with his word and his set times. The moon has her place and her assigned duties in heaven. Never is she to be used to set years, months, Sabbaths, or feasts by, making an unclean day into a clean day and a holy day unholy. This is where she is darkness to the sinner. Rather, she marks the years of tithe that lift up and sustain the poor, the years of rest for the land, and the years of release, so that poverty did not become a lifestyle. A blessing indeed for the righteous who use her properly. So I hope you've enjoyed this study on the moon, and we can now understand what her assigned duties were on the 4th day, and how the priests used her as a supercomputer, keeping track of the Jubilees through Gamul and Shechaniah. So until we meet again, I wish you Shalom, Shalom.
Shalom, shalom.